Hello everyone, welcome back to our OOPS in Java series. This is the second part of exception handling. If you missed the part 1, please check it out. The link is in the description. This session is brought to you by Microsoft Student Chapter VITAP and I am Ramshanam, your technical team member. So let's get started. We'll see how to handle these exceptions. So exception handling is one of the powerful mechanism to handle the exception so that normal flow of the application can be maintained. An exception disrupts only when an exception occurs. An exception disrupts the flow of the application, but when you are handling the exception, the flow of the application is not disrupted. Just it just shows that exception occurred and then continues with the rest of the program. Let us suppose you have 10 statements in a program, and then you have a statement number 5 in which an exception arises. In that case, if you did not handle the exception, it will show the compiler, the JVM by itself will show that exception occurs at this place and then terminates the program. But if you use certain mechanisms, certain techniques, and handle the exception, in that case the normal flow of the normal execution of the program continues. All 10 statements will be executed. We have various methods to print exception. First will be print stack trace. This particular syntax will print the information about the exception in the format of name, description, and stack trace. You can see when you write e.print, e is basically your object of your exception class. With that you are trying to print stack trace. Then you get java.lang.arithmetic exception, which is basically your name, /by 0. This is your description, and then at test.main test.java 10. This is your stack trace. And then you have another method also, which is toString. This method prints exception information in the format of name and description. That means when you use this particular syntax, you get only the name and the description. That means like here you can see arithmetic exception and description, which is by 0 only in your output. Then you have lastly get message syntax also, which prints only the description of the exception. Here you can see we used e.print stack trace. So this particular thing will obviously, as we have seen, will give you the description, name, and the stack trace. To.string will give you the name and the description, and get string will give you the description only. Let us see the output. See, you can see this is the output which was expected. And then finally we'll see different techniques to catch the error, catch the exception, or exception handling. How are we going to handle it? So the try block syntax is as follows. In this particular try block, we write the code which we might expect an exception to be there to occur. So in this block you are going to write like suppose there is an exception which is like 50 divided by 0. So that particular statement needs to be there in this try block. After this try block, you have a catch block in which you are specifying the name of the exception along with the object of it. In this you are writing a block of code which handles the error. So this is the first example. Here we have simple exception over here, which is again arithmetic exception, which again we are trying to divide a number with 0. We wrote this into a try block, and then we are handling by writing the exception name, which is arithmetic exception with the object name, and then we have the catch statement which says can't divide by 0, and code ends. So let us see what happens. Usually what happens is when you are having an exception, the code disrupts the flow. The exception disrupts the flow of the code and does not continue with the further statements. But here we'll see what happens. There are some issues in this code. Let's fix this. So let's run this. See, the exception was handled successfully because when 50 is divided by 0, you were expected to get a message from the compiler saying that you have to handle this particular error, particular exception, but you did not get so. You just got the description which was given in your catch block. Can't divide by 0, and surprisingly you also got the statement code end,
which is after the exception. So even though you got an exception was occurred, the rest of the statement was continued by the compiler. So this is the benefit of handling the exception. Then we have multi-catch block. This particular block has one single try block having more than one catch block. This can be used when you have more than one condition for your compiler to detect from a try block. In that case, you can use multi-try block. So all the catch block must be ordered from most specific to most general in order for the your compiler to catch the exception properly. This is very key point which we need, very important key point which we need to remember throughout our exception handling course. So what happens is your compiler reads the try block. After that, it searches for the exception. Like if the first exception is caught, then it directly goes for the catch block. If it is not, then it checks for the second exception in case the second exception occurs. If not, then it goes, and it goes on until all your exception catch blocks are completed. If it is not caught, then normal flow of the code is continued, and that's all. Then here we have an example. Here you can see, firstly, under the try block we have an array of size 5, but 5, you're trying to access a fifth value which is 30 divided by 5. So here you can notice, firstly we are trying to access a value of an array which does not exist, which is out of its bound, and secondly we are trying to divide a number by 0. So here we have chances for more than one exception. So let's see what our compiler will throw an exception first. So firstly, in our catch block we have given arithmetic exception occur. This particular exception we have given priority, and then we have written array index out of bound. So this comes after it. So let us see this particular code in IntelliJ. You can see this code we have over here. So yes, your compiler says arithmetic exception occurs even though you are accessing your array first, but just because your catch block contains your arithmetic exception first, it catches your it gives the priority to this block. So this is all about multi-catch block. Then we will have another example over here. We will have another example over here which has different priority list for the catch block. You can see we have given very common exception over here, like common task completed. This is very usual for an compiler to detect at first, rather than your more specified ones. So what happens is, when you run this particular code, see, your compiler shows exception by throws exception by itself. Even though you have already given it into the catch block, it is not able to catch. Why so? Because already this particular catch block is being used. So all the other catch block is not going to be run in the program. As soon as your try block detects the exception over here, it goes for the first most catch block, which is very common exception. So it thinks that it handled the exception, but in this case it did not handle the exception in reality. So that is the reason why your compiler is telling you to handle it now and give it priority, because this particular thing is more specified and not generalized. So this is very key point while using multi-catch block. Now we have nested try block. Nested try block is inside a try block inside another try block, and each try block has its respective catch block. So every statement that we enter in a try block, content of that exception is pushed onto the stack. This is useful in a situation where part of a block may cause one error and the entire block itself may cause another error. So this is the syntax for it. You can observe one try block is under another try block, and another try block is under all these. So it can go on. We can have multiple, but remember, all these try blocks have their respective catch blocks. Wait, this is not the flowchart for it. Let's ignore that. So yeah, this is the example for nested try block. So you can see you have outer try block, inner try block, and then another inner try block. So firstly, you in this entire code you have 39 divided by 0, which is obviously an arithmetic error, arithmetic exception. Then it is caught, and you have another try block which is trying to access an array which is out of bound. So this will show, this has its own respective respective catch block. And lastly, we have outer catch block, which says that exception is handled. And lastly, we have normal flow printed over here. Let's see what will be the output. So this is going to be output. Let us check it in our JVM. Yes, so all the exceptions are handled because no exception was thrown by the JVM. You can see first it showed that we are going to divide by 0. It gave the description which we mentioned in the code, and then it said which exception was occurred, and then again in the second inner block which exception occurred, it stated that, and lastly it closed it went for the outer catch block and executed the program completely. We'll